19 vaccination today. Governor Nyesom Wike commissions ultra-modern government house clinic. On the foreign scene, Italy blocks AstraZeneca vaccine shipment to Australia. COVID is real. Observe all health protocols. Protect yourself, protect others. I am Ifiemi Andrews. Nigeria will begin the vaccination against COVID-19 today, 2 days after it received the first batch of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccines. The executive director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Faisal Shuaibu, said the government will kick off the exercise at the National Hospital in Abuja, where the frontline health workers will be the first set of people to be vaccinated.
Like Mr. President and doesn't take this vaccine, it will increase their confidence around the safety of the vaccines.
Mr. Shuaibu said once strategic leaders had been vaccinated, attention will then shift to states where leaders such as state governors will also be made to take the vaccine in public. On his part, Minister of Health Osagi Anire called for more investment in the health sector.
We have at least 2 vaccine candidates in Nigeria, but they need a lot of resources to go through the clinical trial phases. The trials, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So we're trying to look for the resources to support them in doing that. And until that is done, which will take at least a year, we are not yet directly going to be in that game. We have a vaccine production company called BioVaccines Nigeria Limited, owned 49% by the federal government, which is looking to partner with other vaccine producers and perhaps produce under license here if the technology transfer agreement or discussions go through.
Rivers State recorded 41 cases of COVID-19 among the 708 cases recorded nationwide. The NCDC reports that Adamawa recorded the highest with 180 cases, while Lagos recorded 141. So far, Nigeria has recorded 157,671 confirmed cases. 136,335 cases have been discharged, while 1,951 deaths have been recorded. The federal government has extended working from home directive for civil servants from grade level 12 and below until the end of March. Head of Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemieson, in a statement, said the latest directive was in adherence to the advice of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. She stressed that the COVID-19 downward trend needed to be maintained. She also emphasized the need for all public servants to continue to ensure strict compliance with the existing guidelines on the prevention and spread of the pandemic. The Nigeria Police at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport Lagos Command has arrested and paraded 5 persons who deal on issuing fake COVID-19 certificate at the airport. The Commissioner, Airports Command, Bature Umar, said the incident occurred on February 19 at the airport, where a British Airways passenger, Michael Osagbogun, was defrauded of the sum of 50,000 naira for COVID-19 test. He said one of the suspects had approached Osagbogun and took him to a cyber cafe where a fake certificate was eventually procured for him. Despite the payment, he said the victim, who was on his way to London, was denied boarding by the officials of the airline based on the fake COVID-19 negative certificate he presented at the counters. Away from that, regional representative of the Africa America Security Study Group, Azuka Onolim, says operatives of the Rivers State Neighborhood Watch Agency were deployed to communities without training. As you may know, the Director General of Rivers State Neighborhood Watch, Mike Uche Chukuma, said he had begun posting operatives of the agency. But Ms. Anolim said deploying operatives of the agency into communities without basic training will be counterproductive. She, however, called on Governor Nyesom Wike not to allow any hasty deployment of operatives without proper training to avoid crisis between them and other local security outfits in the communities.
Citizen participation in the security of lives and properties is the only way out of this ravaging insecurity in the country, but there should be strong synergy with all stakeholders and resources available, as River State's outing on Neighborhood Watch should set a standard according to the global best practice on the people-owned security platforms. We duly call on the governor not to allow any hasty deployments of the operatives without proper trainings.
Recall that the training of operatives of the River State Neighborhood Watch was disrupted by the military at the NYC orientation camp on December 18, 2018. Still ahead, Governor Nyesom Wike commissions ultra-modern government house clinic and administrative building. Stay tuned. Governor Nyesom Wike has commissioned the ultra-modern government house clinic and administrative. Governor Wike, during the commissioning late yesterday evening, said despite the state being harassed by the federal government, he will continue to do what is best for Rivers people. He said the state should not be victimized because it is Rivers State money that has been used to develop the state.
I'm so emotional because I know what we passed through in the hands of the ruling government. No state government has been harassed like River State government. Not one. But I will never give up. I will continue to do what I think is for the best interest of the people of River State. Come and see what River State has done. And tell your people there, don't victimize us. Where we are today, there's no hope. The only hope for this country is for us to go back and come to a party that has produced people like us.
Governor Nyesom Wike also said services at the hospital is not for free, but will be less expensive.
This clinic is not going to serve me alone because I'm in government house and my wife and children. No. It will also serve those who work in government house. It will also serve elder statesmen. It will also serve judges, legislators, leaders of our state. But it will not be free. Free thing does not work well. Because, you see, even the staff here will go and bring his mother's relation. You will see over 1,000 people a day. But it will not be expensive. It's just to make sure the clinic will run.
Our correspondent reports that the ultra-modern government house clinic and administrative building was commissioned by former Senate President Bukola Saraki. In the meantime, Governor Nyesom Wike is advocating for 10% of the money that will be allotted to host communities in the Petroleum Industry Bill PIB. Governor Nyesom Wike was speaking when he made the call to members of the National Assembly Committee on PIB led by Victor Nwokolo, who paid him a courtesy visit at the government house in Port Harcourt.
What you have seen, like the leader said, of the sufferance of the host communities, it is very obvious. There are people who are saying 2%, 10% allocation to the host communities will have a change of mind. It's unfortunate that people produce oil, but they live in poverty. I believe that this PIB will make a recommendation on how a certain percentage must be given to the host oil communities. Whatever percentage, which should not be less than 10%, but should be tied to specific projects for the development of the host communities.
Governor Wike also complained of the effective activities of some multinationals on the environment. He urged the National Assembly to ensure that the bill, if passed into law, would help address the problem of environmental pollution and crisis between oil host communities and multinationals.
So I hope you have the courage to do what is right. It's a welcome development for this bill, and I hope it will not be like the electoral act. After you pass it, they will keep it for months. Later they say no, they will not assent to it. Then you bring their party politics. You see them pass it, they bring it back. You say, well, I'm a member of APC. But you're a member of APC, you pass the bill. And then the secretary throws it back to you that they will not decide. And then you keep quiet. And that is the problem. You keep quiet. Because what you're doing is only for the Nigeria. If it's for the interest of Nigeria, you said, we will pass it because this is for the interest of the country. Like I said, the state will represent their position. But what is important is, in order to reduce the hostility between the host communities and the IOCs.
In the same vein, stakeholders from the Niger Delta have faulted sections of the Petroleum Industry Bill. Speaking during the National Assembly Joint Committee on Petroleum Industry Bill public hearing in Port Harcourt, Attorney General of the state Zacchaeus Adango described some sections of the bill as unjust to host communities. He also said the federal government should not be given the exclusive rights to petroleum resources.
Now, for us as a government, this proposed clause is obnoxious, it is unjust, and highly depredative. Natural resource governance and ownership can no longer be treated as an exclusive national affair. It is both a national and regional affair because the impact of petroleum extraction affects, in fact, the regional areas. And so any system that views petroleum resources as something that only the national government will exercise exclusive control and competence over is a system that cannot meet the earnings of our people.
Professor Wadango called for a review of the proposed 2.5% host community sustainable development funds.
You cannot be talking about an appointment of trustees into the board by the oil companies themselves rather than by the host communities. That runs contrary to every concept of trust as known to law. Our submission is that it is the communities themselves that should be responsible solely for the appointment of trustees, because the percentage that the oil company will pay for the development of the host communities. The unspeakable impact of petroleum extraction. Now, the proposed 2.5% host community sustainable development fund is grossly and criminally inappropriate. That concept that you are attaching us money is a run-off. I'm not begging you. For us as a government, anything that is less than 10% is unacceptable.
Also, former President, Movement for the Survival of Ogoni People Masop, Ledum Amiti, questioned the inclusion of a trust fund board in the bill that will be managed by the federal government.
Now you have a bill that says that they are going to give some percentage to the Niger Delta community into some trust fund that is being controlled by a minister in Abuja. Even the money we are going to give to host communities under this PIB, if there is a pipe that is broken in that community, we will subtract the cost of repair of those things from their money. A whole lot of provisions of this bill cleverly has been hidden in a manner to exploit the peoples of the Niger and needs to be interrogated squarely.
On his part, a Niger Delta activist, Tija Bolton Akban, said an investigation by his group shows that the bill in its current state will give more power to the international oil companies.
The PIB 2020 in its current form actually mortgages the socio-economic rights of the host communities to the settlers, that is the oil companies. For instance, the settlers are those to determine what is a host community. It is the settlers too that will determine the composition of the board of trustees of the proposed host communities trust funds. The law even says that the board of trustees may not necessarily come from the host communities. So you see that it's the settlers that determine almost everything in this bill.
Moving on, a non-governmental organization, Ogoni Liberation Initiative, has faulted the comments credited to the Minister of Environment that 15 oil-impacted sites in Ogoni have been completely cleaned. President of the organization, Douglas Fabeke, in a statement said his team, along with experts, visited almost all oil-impacted communities in Ogoni and none has been cleaned. Dr. Fabeke said it is regrettable that the federal government allegedly refused to respect the sacrifices of heroes and the environmental injustice in Ogoni. He expressed worry that the Ogonis are being neglected despite their peaceful disposition. He thanked Ogoni people for their cooperation during the visit, adding that an official report to enhance the plan for the communities and their compensation will be made available soon. The president of the group further thanked President Buhari for the approval of the water projects in 4 local government areas in Ogoni. He, however, advised those contractors to ensure that the water project is accompanied with an international standard of water treatment plant in each local government council and kingdom. He said the group will not allow anyone to politicize the Ogoni cleanup. In business, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has guaranteed a total of 122.6 billion naira loans under the Agricultural Credit Guarantee Scheme Fund at end of 2020. Chairman of the fund's board, Stephen Okon, said the fund has positively impacted on agriculture and agribusiness in the country, especially since the increase of its share capital from 3 billion naira to 50 billion naira, in line with current economic realities. In entertainment, veteran Nigerian comedian Atunyota Alleluia. Akbobomere, popularly known as Alibaba, has taken to social media to debunk rumors that his marriage to Mary Akpobome has hit the rocks. The legendary comedian got married to his wife in 2006. Alibaba, while reacting to the news of his marital crisis, posted a cozy picture with his wife, fondly called Mommy Mary, smiling. He said they're still married and said the rumors started because he was not home during Christmas and New Year celebrations. In sports, the federal government has declared its backing for Nigeria Football Federation President Amaju Pinnick's quest to be a member of the FIFA Council. Speaking on behalf of the Minister of Youth and Sports Development at the press conference in Abuja, the Permanent Secretary Nebolisa Anako said Pinnick's victory will further reposition Nigeria in the global football map.
And now we bring you news from around the world.
The Italian government has blocked the export of an Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine shipment to Australia. The decision affects 250,000 doses of the vaccine produced at an AstraZeneca facility in Italy. Italy is the first EU country to use the bloc's new regulations, allowing exports to be stopped if the company providing the vaccines has failed to meet its obligations to the EU. Austria said losing one shipment would not badly affect its rollout. The move has been backed by the European Commission. On the news this morning, you heard that Nigeria is set to begin COVID-19 vaccination today. Governor Nyesom Wike has commissioned the ultra-modern Government House Clinic. On the foreign scene, you heard that Italy has blocked AstraZeneca vaccine shipment to Australia. The news was edited by Martha Okere. I am Ifiemi Andrews. Contact our newsroom on 0818-900-0017. Cloudy weather expected in Port Harcourt this morning. Thank you for your time.